So in today's video, we are going to be talking about all of the brand new icons and their leaked in-game stats and their leaked playstyles. So between now and the 6th of October, I'm going to be uploading a daily free eafc 25 trading guide. This will include everything to do on the web app to make as many coins as possible with both trading and investing. I'll be talking about the full release, what we expect to see regarding the market, and there'll also be a daily updated investing guide, all in there, updated every day for free. No gimmicks whatsoever, all you gotta do is click on the Google Docs link on the top link of the description. So in today's video, what we are gonna be doing is we are gonna be covering all of the brand new icons that are gonna be in eafc 25 because the whole database has been leaked, and as a result, we have all their in-game stats. And more importantly and more interestingly enough for me, as a trader, I can actually go and compare them to previous icons, compare them to previous new icons. I couldn't tell you guys how much these icons are going to be. Basically going off of their current stats and who they're very comparable to. I've done a lot of research for these players, so hopefully we can be as accurate as possible. One thing I will also say and get that out there early is we will be doing a video on the cheap meta players. So if there are any players that you guys would like me to look at in future videos, do make sure to drop them down below. If they've been meta in previous FIFAs, or maybe you've seen them on Twitter. Basically what I'll do is I'll go and give my 2 cents, comparing them to previous cards in previous years, and also talking about maybe if they're a good investment or not. So we are going to be starting off with Gareth Bale. Why? Because Gareth Bale, despite being the lowest rated of the brand new icons, is probably going to be the most hype because his card is looking insane. Now, we know that he is going to be a right wing. We don't know what his alt positions are, but potentially anywhere from obviously a left back, maybe a striker. There aren't centre forwards, I guess, in next year, so I'd only imagine striker, right wing, and left back from my knowledge of Bale. He's got himself the Rapid Plus playstyle, which is very, very nice, and in fact, some of the most expensive icons in FIFA have the Rapid Plus, and again we'll cover that in a sec. We'll just look at the card briefly. 95 pace, very nice even split right there. 89 shooting, coming there with 92 shot power and 88 finishing. Looking very good right there. It's not one of these very high shooting, but it's all wasted on penalties and some, other stats we don't really care about. Passing is kind of average for an attacker. You got the crossing there of 84 and 86, but nothing too insane. Dribbling's looking nice, 85 agility, but that's, not a surprise from someone who I believe is about 6 to 6'2". 90 dribbling, 89 ball control, 90 reactions, looking very nice. Defending, not the highest, so, that left back utility, if he does get left back utility, wouldn't be utilised that much. And the same with him only having 79 strength, but obviously he's got good jumping, so not too bad. Now, let's have a little talk about what cards he's compared to, because again, it's what we've done our research in. So there are actually 4 icons with Rapid Plus. Those icons are Jairzinho, they are Henry, Kaká, and Eusebio. Meaning the icons that have the playstyle plus that he has range from 1.1 million to 4 million. And I would definitely say that a brand new icon Bale is going to be towards that more top end. He's actually most comparable to Jairzinho out of any of them. And this is how the card, compares to Jairzinho. So, Jairzinho. He has 4 more pace than Jairzinho. He has the exact same shooting. He has the exact same passing. He has 1 less dribbling. And he's got, 6 more physical. So he's got a more favourable card than Jairzinho. But he does only have 4-star skills, 3-star weak foot in comparison to Jairzinho's 5-star skills and 4-star weak foot. So, kind of behind him there. Bale, I would say, is significantly taller as well. Again, sometimes that can work in your favour than, being more Haaland-like and powerful and just charge for the teams. Sometimes that works out in your favour and they can just feel sluggish. Although you'd like to hope that Bale would feel, more Haaland-like. Now, if you're interested in what happened to Jairzinho, Jairzinho was 2.8 million coins off the bat and actually managed to hold 2 million coins all the way through to mid-December. So, yeah, the most comparable icon was 2.8 million from the release. And I'll be honest with you, I don't see why Bale would actually be less than that. And the reason I don't see why he'd be less than that is because he is literally the most hyped brand new icon. Now, you can argue that maybe there's going to be heroes as hyped about him, but it's very rare that we see heroes outpricing icons. So yeah, I do think Bale is going to be very, very expensive. So what else I've got comment-wise? I was comparing him also to other brand new icons because, brand new icons have this sort of added tax that everyone wants to try them. They're new cards, they want to see what they're like. So they can sometimes be more expensive than other sort of cards of their quality. So for example, Bale could be in the game and Jairzinho could be in the game, but because Bale is brand new, he'll potentially be 500k to $1 million more. So what I've actually gone and done is compared him to Bobby Charlton. Bobby Charlton came in the brand new FIFA at 2.5 million and held 2 million to mid-December. Miyama did the same sort of thing, but she was about 5 million and held 4 million. So these top-end icons, and from my research, actually hold their value really, really well all the way through to mid-December. So you could go and buy Bale in the first week of FIFA. He will, I believe they peak before Ultimate Edition comes out, but they only go down about 10-20% in holding on to them for 2-3 months. And if you compare that to like gold cards like Mbappe and so on, you know, you don't get that sort of return rate whatsoever, especially if we're talking about promo cards, because obviously promo cards get switched out very fast, whereas these icons less so. Now obviously it'll be subjective on what sort of, I guess, top-end POTMs we get and what sort of promo cards we get, but yeah, as I say, top-end cards like Bale hold his value very well. So, talking about Jairzinho being 2.8 million, Bobby Charlton being 2.5 million when he comes in, I would generally say that Bale, I'd be very surprised if he's less than 3.5 million. I think he's going to come out being extremely, extremely expensive. And I'd even say he could be as high as 4.5 million. Just because, again, he is a brand new icon. Miyama last year was a brand new icon. I do think she's significantly more demanded. But she doesn't have the hype that Bale has. Obviously, he played for Real Madrid. I think it's like the second... Well, actually, I think it's the most followed club in the world. Miyama didn't have that sort of background where everyone wanted to try the card because, they were, I guess, mesmerised by performances back in the day, as much as Bale would have. So yeah, I'd say about 3.5 to 4 million coins on Bale, and I'd imagine he'll probably only drop maximum 500k in a few months because, again, these top-end icons just do that. So that is Gareth Bale, the most exciting player who is the lowest. The next one we're going to get to is going to be Miyama. Now this is a very interesting card because she's coming out here as a default left mid, but EA, for every single slow left mid, have given them some sort of central utilisation. So for example, Schweinsteiger, when he's had left mid cards, they give him the centre mid position. We've got David Beckham, slow right mid, they've given him a centre mid position. Seedorf has left mid and right mid, but he's also got that cam position. So even though she does look pretty useless as a left mid, a lot of the players who've had wide positions sort of have allowed them to also have a centre mid position. So I actually did a little bit of research because I thought, well, they can't really give her a centre mid if she didn't play centre mid. So I did my research on SofaScore, and they actually say that she only played left mid, as in like that was her predominant position. She didn't switch 50-50. But then I did do a little bit more looking into it because she played actually as recent as I think it was like 2015. And what's it called? She actually had a bunch of games where she did start in the midfield. So I don't think it was probably her predominant position through her career, because when you ever do any research, they always say she played on the left, and the vast majority of games that I was skimming through, like the lineup sheet, she was always starting on the left. But she did have a few games in centre mid, so as a result, I think they could give her some centre mid utility. Now, if they don't give her centre mid utility, I generally think that card will potentially be about half the price it would be if it had centre mid utility, because having a left mid with obviously 84 pace, semi-decent shooting, semi-decent dribbling, it's just not as desired than if you let this card be maybe a box-to-box, maybe even more of a cam sort of card. So so they have also released sort of players who play really well in centre mid with only left and right mid. I think we had like Ji-Sung Park in previous years where they only let him play on the left or the right. As a result, we kind of cut the value of the card. This card's got 4-star skills, 5-star weak foot. The playstyle plus is Deadball, which Deadball by nature, Deadball by name, Deadball by nature. I think it's a completely useless playstyle. I mean, I always pass off my free kicks. So, So her shooting, passing, and dribbling is amazing. As amazing as a box-to-box. It's very, very good as a cam even. Wouldn't be really playing her in striker because I imagine she's probably not the biggest frame in the world, and 85 pace. And then we get to comparing the card. Now, comparably, I guess stat for stat, she's actually most like David Beckham, which is interesting because David Beckham also has Deadpool Plus. David Beckham probably has more demand due to the name, but then she'll have more demand due to being new. So her comparison to Beckham is she has 4 more pace than Beckham, 1 more shooting than Beckham, but 4 less passing, 5 more dribbling, 6 less defending, and 9 less physical. So I say it's like Beckham. She's not really like Beckham, but I'll be honest with you, there aren't too many cards she's like. Other than, you've got Sawa. It seems a bit cliche comparing one Japanese woman icon to another one, but but I will say that Sawa has a better card than her. And I also was very surprised at how cheap Sawa was last year, because actually Sawa's card is insane for a beginning of the game. So comparable to Sauer, she's got the same pace, 1 less shooting, 3 less passing, 1 less dribbling, 23 less defending, 6 less physical. She does, on the other hand, have 5-star skills, 4-star weak foot 4-star skills, 5-star weak foot over Sauer's double 4, and likewise she also has 4-star, 5-star over David Beckham's double 3. So Sauer's price on the release was 1.1 million and then held 900k all the way through to mid-December. Beckham, on the other hand, was only 450k on release, but then dropped all the way down to 200k during December. So as a result, we're going to put her kind of in the middle of those, and I'd say she'll probably be about 5 to 700k from the release, and then drop probably 100 to 150k later in the game. Now that is off the presumption she has some sentiment utility. If she does not have sentiment utility, I do not see this card being 600-700k. I'd say I'll probably be close to being 400k on the release, and then probably drop to 200k if she has no sentiment utility. I understand you can move her in game, but yeah, I just don't see the card being very demanded if she can't be played in some centre mid role. Next card I think is actually like pretty cool. Quite an interesting card. So we've got Schelin. Her playstyle plus is finesse. Now obviously finesse plus last year was massive in the game. I think it was like a month into the game, it just skyrocketed everyone's price. And I'll talk about who she can compare to, and that player did skyrocket. So playstyle plus, obviously really good going off of last year's meta at least. She's got double 4-star. It's kind of all you really need in an attacker. She's got really good passing. She's got really good pace, shooting and dribbling. Semi-good passing. Physicality is not bad, but obviously I imagine her being female, she'll have a smaller sort of frame, so that can obviously be a negative. She's got 93 finishing. It's a really nice stat to look into. She's got 90 ball control, 91 dribbling, and she has 88 composure, and she does have 89 strength. So yeah, it's not looking too bad. And she's actually very, very comparable to Kenny Dalglish. So the comparison to Kenny Dalglish is she's got 2 more pace than Dalglish, 1 less shooting, 7 more passing, 1 more dribbling, 1 less physical. But she does have 1 lower weak foot. Well, Dalglish at the beginning of the game was 1.5 million and then rose to 1.8 million because of the finesse meta, and then he proceeded to go down to 1.1 million in December. So he only dropped 400k in the first 2-3 months, which isn't too bad. Now, in terms of another card you can compare her to, because there weren't actually any sort of mid-range brand new icons last year, because I think you had expensive ones like Zico, but then your next closest one was I think Smith, and then your next closest one on that was Prince. So we didn't really get many new icon strikers last year. But if we're going to put it closest to anything, it's probably going to be to the likes of Smith, the woman icon rather than the American, who is 800k on release, but then actually dropped 400k in the first 2 months. But that was mainly due to having a Centurion promo card. So my prediction would be she'd basically be closer to Dalglish. And with Dalglish being 1.5 million, but he's got a lot of name behind him. Liverpool's one of the most followed clubs in the world, so therefore he's got a lot of demand there. He's also got that 5-star weak foot. I would say, but then I'd say her card is slightly better. I would say that she'll be 1.5 million from the release, and then drop down to around about 1.2 million mid-December. So again, all these top icons should be holding their price really nicely. Yeah, it's just that they'll be expensive by no surprise. We then get to, I think, the second most useless icon they're adding. We're getting Pichon. Pichon has, you think, she's got a pretty meh card. She's also got Bicycle Kick, Playstyle Plus, which is, in my opinion, just might as well not have a Playstyle Plus if you can have Bicycle Kick. Well, although actually, I did find when I was playing a fair bit of eafc 24, even just volleys in the air seem to at least trigger showing the Bicycle Kick. So maybe you've got that at least. So she's got 89 shooting. It's kind of what you expect of a relatively slow striker. If you're not going to have pace, at least have a cannon on you. She's got 92 finishing and 90 ball control. Some nice stats to look at. Stat-wise, she's actually quite comparable with Robin van Persie. She's got the same skill moves and weak foot. She's got 1 more pace, but 2 less shooting, 4 less passing, 1 more dribbling, and 2 more physical. Robin van Persie does have a more desirable playstyle. He has the magnet, whatever, I think it's close control dribbling, rather than obviously her bicycle kick. RVP at the beginning of the game was 500k, and then actually dropped to 120k in the first few months. Which, we compare it to some of the more expensive ones, they may be dropping 10-20%. Robin van Persie it's down about 70%, And I think the same would happen with Pichon. Maybe she'll be expensive at the beginning of the game, but these cards just drop like a stone because, people want to try them, the novelty of the new icons, but then they use them and they go, my God, I could, probably get away with using like a Griezmann, and it's just generally a better card. If we're not comparing her to RVP, then we can compare her to the brand new icon of Prince, who was quite a useless striker last year. She actually had aerial, but that was before we knew that aerial was the meta. But yeah, comparable to Prince, she's got 2 more pace, 3 less shooting, same passing, 6 more dribbling, 13 less physical. So not even the most comparable. And that's like they both have pretty rubbish playstyles. So even though Prince was a new icon, she actually at the release of the game was 350k, although dropped to 100k mid-December. And I see the exact same thing happen with Pichon. 300k at the beginning, just becomes a pretty useless striker that no one wants after a month or 2. So yeah, my prediction on her, again, 250k at the beginning, drops to about 100, 120, at least halves in price in the first 2 months. Back to actual icons we care about, we've got ourselves Foudy. Foudy, decent looking card actually. Foudy has 496 face stats, so you know, the pace of the shooting and the passing and so on, which actually is really impressive from the get-go. Some of the key stats were, Playstyle Plus, Relentless. Oh, I love Relentless in my midfielders. As someone who's very lazy with defending, I use that RB second man press so much. And I did find if I didn't have any sort of relentless, you know, either the minor playstyle, the Playstyle Plus, you know, my midfielders would absolutely just lose all their energy. I think I got like team of the season KDB, and I just hated it because he had no relentless on him whatsoever. And you know, so for me, these are perfect sort of midfielders. I got myself Tinier, what was it, Matthias, and Relentless Plus, and that was beautiful. So Relentless Plus on a, for me, massive positive. Some people don't think it's as useful, but it's obviously subjected to playstyles. Some top stats on a 88 vision, 92 short passing, 90 long passing, 92 stamina, 92 stamina Relentless. Lovely. Comparable card-wise, she's actually comparable to Gerrard's card, with 2 more pace, 4 less shooting, the same passing, 4 more dribbling, and 1 more defending. She has a more desirable plus than Gerrard. I think yeah, power shot. I'd say Relentless is more desirable than power shot. And she has 1 higher weak foot. Gerrard's card was 400k at the beginning, dropped down to 150k. I don't think Foudy is going to be anything like that. She isn't really comparable as... So yeah, Gerrard's card was a bit meh. Now, the problem is, if we're looking at... So I like to compare them card by card, and then we compare them with the new cards. There wasn't really a card not quite as good. Like, the 2 cards that are comparable are Sour and... What's the other one? Sour and Aberley. But Sour and Aberley have better stats. They probably got, like, combined probably another 20 card stats on top of her. Well, Aberley was 1 million and went down to only 900k after 2 months. Again, just showing you how well these high-rated cards held. I think Sour again was about 1 million, dropped to 900k. I don't think she'll be that, but again, I don't think she'll be as cheap as Gerrard. So I would say she'll probably be a little bit cheaper now. I'd say she'll probably be about 600 to 700k and then drop down to around about 400 to 500k. So again, she should hold her value pretty well, but not quite as good as the centre mid icons we got last year. Now, we're now going to move on to the goalkeepers. But like I said earlier, I didn't actually think that Pichon is the most useless player. I actually think the highest rated icon they're added to the game is the most useless player. And that is Anger. They may say, oh, you know, the stats look decent. The stats look decent, but she's 5'7", okay? They're really, you know... You're just mugging yourself off with either long shots, finesse shots, travellas. If you're using these small sort of goalkeepers, it really just doesn't work. Well, because we didn't have any top end women goalkeepers last year, it got me thinking. You know, obviously there's no icon goalkeepers. I don't think you can compare a 5'7" goalkeeper even to Casillas, who I think is either 6 foot or just sub 6 foot. So for me, the most comparable card was actually Team of the Year Mary Earps. So comparable to a Team of the Year card, she had +1 diving, -3 handling, -12 kicking, same reflexes, she had 9 more speed, and -2 positioning. Now obviously Mary Earps came out in January, so a few months in, and she was 200k and dropped down to 140k, and actually rebounded even higher to 240k. That's kind of like the demand for the women keepers. I think Mary Earps even maybe being a little bit taller. Well, if we look at Iker Casillas even, you know, the male goalkeepers, Iker Casillas was 300k, and then held 200k through to mid-December. So even the men ones aren't too expensive. So my prediction with Anger will be about 200 to 300k from the get-go. Just because Earps was 200k on the release, Casillas was 300k on the release, you know, maybe she's about 150. Because a lot of icons aren't really below 150 from the get-go. So I'd say, yeah, about 200, 250k from the get-go. But then she'll just literally drop to being 92 rated SBC fodder after about 3 months. unless they change the meta. Hey, maybe what they're going to do is reflexes are going to be insane, and they're going to nerf long shots. And obviously, we don't know what the metas are going to be next year, but it's just really hard to believe that they decided to add. Like, you can get away with kind of using a woman anywhere. Maybe centre back. Obviously, you're going to get hit a little bit with crosses. But it's just crazy to believe that one of the highest rated icons, and maybe this is why she's so high rated, because they've got to really buff these cards to make them demanded. You know, you could add a woman on any position, but adding them in goal with being 5'7" is just, you know, it's just insane. Again, you've got to hope they're going to add like double jump or something like that, because otherwise you're going to be a bit screwed. So yeah, price wise, I think we're going to look at about 150k, and yeah, drop down to being fodder in about 2 months. We'll now move to the goalkeeper, which I think will be a little bit more demanded, less Joe Barton misogynistic brand, even sounding, and that is my fellow 6'3" goalkeeper, Luigi Buffon. Gianluigi Buffon, there you go. Most comparable to Yashin. I mean, Buffon's card, really nice. 6'3". We don't know the goalkeeper playstyle pluses. We know the goalkeepers have playstyle pluses next year, but we don't know what, you know, we don't know what Buffon's is, and we don't know what Angora is going to be. Well, yeah, really, really nice face stats. Really comparable to Yashin. He's got 1 more diving than Yashin, 3 less handling, 1 more kicking, 1 less reflex, 9 less speed, 4 less position. But obviously, he's a new icon over Yashin. Yashin held 500k. Sorry, Yashin was 600k in release and held 500k all the way through to early Jan. Now, this kind of occurred because we didn't really get that many good goalkeepers new in the game. We had the Thunderstruck, Thunderstruck Iker Casillas, but other than that, EA really neglected giving us both goalkeeper SBCs and goalkeepers in promo cards. That's why we saw a lot of goalkeepers do really well out of packs last year. So what do I think is going to happen with Buffon? Well, again, if Yashin was 600, held 500, I'd say he'll probably be about 700. I don't see him being much more than Yashin. Bear in mind his card's a little bit worse, but obviously he's got that new hype. But yeah, I'd say about 600-700k. It probably drops down to about 400k after 2 months. Because in the end of the day, unless they're going to neglect giving us promo goalkeepers, I think it will just get replaced. And in the end of the day, no one wants to spend a lot of money on the goalkeepers. So this is all the cards apart from, for some really weird reason, they didn't have Thuram on the database. They had every single icon. From what I understand, every single hero. They had 16,000 players, but they did have Thuram. So sadly we don't have in-game stats for him, but I've still done a little bit of analysis on him nonetheless. So his playstyle plus is Slide Plus, which is really good. And he's got a really, really interesting card because he's a fullback. Now again, I don't know too much about Thuram. Maybe I should have done a little bit more research. But he has 88 pace, 90 defending and 90 physical, which actually doesn't make him very comparable to anyone unless he can be a centre-back. And if he can be a centre-back, that's insane. This is... I don't know how tall he is again. I probably should have done more research. But, those are some insane stats. In fact, he's not really comparable to any icon fullback we have in the game because none of them have 90 defending and 90 physical. Maybe he's comparable to Maldini, but Maldini's price is fully in a centre-back. But yeah, he's a really, really unique player, so I think it's quite interesting. So pace-wise, we're comparing him to Carlos Alberto, the right-back who can play centre-back because he's the fullback with the highest physical and defending. Pace-wise, he's got the same. He's got 4 less passing, he's got 2 more defending, 5 more physical, but you can't play him at centre-back. Now, Carlos Alberto was 1 million coins and held 900k all the way through to February, which is insane, because a lot of the players I've been talking about have been December. The reason I talk about December is because that's when we started seeing them dropping. Whereas, again, Carlos Alberto managed to hold 900k into February. So I think it's definitely going to be subjective on what old positions he can play. But yeah, his card is just crazy for how high that physical and defending is. Now, another reason they may have given him high physical and defending is we saw them do this with Theo Hernandez, is they've bumped, I think, the jumping and a few other stats, basically to counter last year's meta, again, with people using Jostler at right back, and EA didn't want that. So I think we've seen a fair few of the fullbacks getting kind of juiced up a bit more in the physical stats, and I imagine they'll come a lot more into jumping to counter the back post cross meta, because EA would way prefer using fullbacks at fullbacks than stupid stuff like strikers at fullbacks, because it's almost just it makes it a bit of a mockery of the game. So yeah, Thuram potentially having really high physical defending because of that. Again, if he ever could have played centre back, well then that's going to be an insane centre back. Price wise, I think it will generally be about 800-900k. Now 800-900k sounds insane for fullbacks until I did a little bit of research on Carlos Alberto. And again, we were talking earlier about Carlos Alberto, being 1 million. Roberto Carlos was 1 million and rose to 1.2 million. So fullbacks can be super expensive and Thuram can be that. Obviously, this guy's French as well. That's the most popular nation in the game. So yeah, looking really, really good. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not quite sure if he's going to have left back or right back utility. Should have maybe done a little bit more research. But that is going to go and wrap up the icons. So again, I'll go through my notes quickly and talk about how much I think each one was going to be. We'll start with Bale, again, around about 4 million coins. We then move to Mia, and I think that she is going to come out at around about 600k. We then get to Schelin, who I think is going to be 1.5 million. Pichon, who I think is going to start for about 300k. Foudy, who I think is going to start for about 700k. Thuram, who again I think can be about 1 million. Angara, the goalkeeper, start for around about 300k. And Buffon, who I think is going to start at 600k. Again, any other players you want me to go and cover, do make sure to drop them down below in the comment section. Any of you guys can give me more insight in Thuram as well, that'd also be greatly appreciated. But that is going to wrap that up. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video.